Today I want to talk about dogs. Well, not dogs, but the toes specifically. What is everyone's issue with toes? That was so weird. Why did I say that? I can't believe I just said that. I should have done something else. I should have worked harder. I should have been better. Everyone's going to think I'm weird. No one's going to like me. I'm not going to have any friends. No one's going to want to talk to me. I can never be happy ever again because all I can think about is how I was just talking about toes. Well, I'm not talking about toes anymore, or actually at all. I'm going to talk about the response that I just showed after bringing up toes. Well, I want everyone to think about a time where they messed up. Did you ever find yourself thinking about all the negative things? Did you overthink? Did you ever find yourself discounting the positive, labeling yourself negatively, jumping to conclusions or thinking of things in extremes? Have you thought about all the things you should have done? Well, if so, you probably had a cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortions are a part of life, and it's something we all experience. But when we experience them too often, they can often lead to increased stress, depression, anxiety, and a boatload of other things, which is why it's so important to learn how to identify them and to counteract them before they do serious damage. Did you know that 264 million people worldwide have anxiety disorders? And 30% of adults experience an anxiety disorder at some point in their life. Well, that means that 1 in 3 of you will likely experience this at some point in your life. So I'm going to prepare you for it now. These are some more examples of cognitive distortions. How do they work? How do we fix them? Well, do you remember when you were a kid and it was a rainy day, so automatically you were like, I don't want to get out of bed. And you thought it was going to be a bad day, so that made you even more sad. And then being sad led you to actually staying in bed, which made you think even more negative thoughts. It's the same thing when we wake up and it's a bright, sunny day. We get to go play outside, so we're excited for the day. We think it's going to be a good day. We're happy, and that makes us have a good day. Well, that's how we think, right? Our behaviors, our thoughts, and our feelings all contribute to the way we act and everything we do. When these thoughts, feelings, and behaviors become negative, they can often lead to cognitive distortions. Cognitive distortions are internal thought patterns that increase misery and make us feel bad about ourselves. They're formed by our core beliefs, which are generally developed by the age of 7. They have cultural, emotional, and environmental factors, and they form our worldview and our self-perception, and they make up the rules for how the world works and our place within it. So how do they work? How do they become? How do we fix this? Well, the best and most effective way is through cognitive behavioral therapy. I've been in cognitive behavioral therapy for about a year now. A year ago, I was giving a presentation half the length of the one I'm giving today. I didn't go to school for 3 days before or the day after that presentation because of how sick I was about it. The presentation went absolutely great, but that is not how I felt about it at all. And that's because cognitive distortions are often irrational and false. And now I'm standing up here today confidently telling you all that if you've ever felt a similar way, you do not have to. And so this is some statistics on CBT. Now, many of these things like panic, PTSD, phobias, OCD, most of you are not diagnosed with them, but I chose this diagram to show you that even in the most severe cases, CBT really is the best way to go. And now that you know it works, I want you all to know that you do not have to pay a single thing or hire a therapist to practice CBT. These are some examples of some free websites that you all have access to. Positive Psychology, Psychology Tools, Think CBT, and Therapist Aid all offer free worksheets that you can download and use to help you work through CBT. And so, while you have access to those today, I'm going to walk you through some things that help. The first being, you all got a piece of candy. It's mindfulness, right? How many of you ate that candy? How many of you just took that wrapper, ate it, didn't think anything about it, right? So for those of you who didn't eat the candy, Or even if you did, I want you to think about this. The next time you eat a piece of candy, take the wrapper off. Think about the wrapper. How does it look? How does it feel? Put the candy in your mouth. Taste the candy. Focus solely on that piece of candy. When you do that and you shut off everything else from the world, you'll be having a mindful moment. Now, you can also do this through mindfulness meditation. You have free access to apps on your phone that will help you do this, or you could even Google guided meditation. Another thing that can help you do this is successive approximations. This is basically a big fancy word for breaking up big tasks into small steps. Now, I know you all know what one of these are. It's a planner. We all got them in middle school. Now, I'm sure most of you didn't use them in middle school, and neither did I, but they can really be helpful to break things down. And this is so important because when you do this and you focus on the small tasks, not only does it allow you to focus on what's right in front of you, it will decrease your stress and it'll give you a sense of reward. So when you check each thing off the list, you'll feel a reward feeling, and it'll push you to keep doing more. Now, I have a question for all of you. Who is the person you talk to most in this world? I know the answer for each and every one of you. Kelly, I know the answer for you. Megan, I know the answer for you. James, I even know the answer for you. And Mr. Loalbo, I definitely know the answer for you. And at this point, you're either thinking that she's full of BS, right? Or she's really creepy. But the truth is, the answer is the same for each and every single one of you. The person you all talk to the most is yourself. And the person we're all mostly the most negative to is also ourselves. In order to reroute our thinking and retrain our mind, we have to think way more positively to ourselves. I handed you all a Post-it before I started speaking. At some point today, it doesn't have to be right now, I want you to take that Post-it and write down one positive thing. It could be about yourself. It could be about something you love. It could simply just be, that's a pretty carpet right there. But by doing this, we're retraining our thinking to think more positively, and the benefits of this are immeasurable. Now, the rest of my talk has to do with positive thinking. Some ways we can practice this are through just thinking something positive. Once again, your phone, you can set yourself a reminder. You can write down, think about something more positive. This will just benefit you. It'll make your day, it'll get your head out of the negative, and it'll make you think more positively and allow you to focus on the positive. Another thing, this is actually a screenshot from one of those free websites. When you have a negative thought, write down a rational counter statement. For example, I hate myself. You write down, I love myself. I can't do this. I can do this. And you just keep going. Anytime you have a negative thought, you counteract that. And finally, this is my positive things jar. My therapist actually told me to make this, but every day you write down something positive. This will not only allow you to focus on the positive things that happened that day, even if you had a really crappy day, but it will also allow you to look forward to the next day, because you know, even if I have the worst day, I can find something positive. While I've offered many tips, techniques, and solutions in this talk, the only way to actually do this is to attack it with an open mind. Nothing positive comes from a negative mind. And so, if you ever find yourself struggling with a cognitive distortion, either now or 5 years from now, 10 years from now, remember the tips, techniques, and tools I shared with you today. And remember, control your thoughts before they control you. Thank you.